Ladies, we are so fortunate in this country to have ample supplies of soya flour coming over to us from America. But the thing is, it's no point that coming over unless we are making use of it in our menus. Many people fail to make any use of it at all, partly because they do not realise how valuable it is, and partly because they don't know what to do with it. The Germans, however, have fully realised how indispensable this foodstuff is, how valuable it is to our diet, and have been making use of this for a long while. It's cheap and very easy to import, so it should become a national asset. And because it's got a dull and insipid flavour, then that means it can be put to good use in a wide range of recipes, whether savoury or sweet, in soups, sandwiches, stews, biscuits and cakes. And it can be used either cooked or uncooked, hot or cold. Now, soya flour, of course, is produced from the soya bean. It's very high in protein for our bodybuilding and our body repair, and it has many good vitamins in it. In fact, if you've been to a restaurant and been served cream with your dessert, you can bet that that's probably made from the fat that's extracted from the soya bean too, and has been nowhere near a cow. Now, it can even be given to babies safely too. So how do we use it? Well, you can always add spoonfuls to stews and soups to give it far more of a meaty goodness. But today I'm going to show you how to use it with some other strong flavoured food to give you a really good, tasty, wholesome family meal. Vegetable, cheese and soya savoury. Let's get on with it. Now, I've reheated some vegetable stock. Of course, always save your vegetable stock, ladies. And I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of savoury extract to that whilst it's hot, and get that to dissolve in the water. Use my knife to get that off the spoon. Dissolving that half a teaspoon of savoury extract. Now, of course, you could use Bovril or Marmite. I've used Bovril. In that half a fluid ounce of warmed vegetable stock. Now, half a fluid ounce generally works out to be about a tablespoon. And I'm now going to add more liquid in the form of 2 fluid ounces of milk. Now, you can use fresh milk, but I'm using up the last of the household milk that I've pre-mixed already. I always try to use that in my cooking if I can. So as you can see, I've now got some savoury milk, and I'm going to pop that to the side for now. I've also grated 2 ounces of cheese. So just a small flavouring of cheese and a bit of extra protein too. Now, you want either a glass dish, oven-proof dish such as this, or you could put it in a very large pie dish, but I like to use this because I can see how well it's cooking. And I'm now going to measure out my soya flour. Now, use about 4 to 6 tablespoons. You may find that if you use the 6 tablespoons, you might need a little extra liquid, but I think with 4 heaped tablespoons of soya I should be all right with what I've mixed. So I've got my 4 heaped tablespoons, you can go up to 6 of soya flour, 2 ounces of cheese, and altogether 2.5 fluid ounces of liquid, just a bit of vegetable stock, the rest milk with some savoury extract dissolved into it. I've also opened a tin of tomatoes. Now, I've had to use my points to purchase my tomatoes because last winter we used up all of our bottled tomatoes, and I don't know about you, but this year I've had a disaster. We've had terrible tomato blight and I have hardly had any tomatoes at all from my Dig for Victory garden. Measure out 4 tablespoons of oats, sprinkle 1/3 of the oats over the surface of the bowl, add 1/3 of a layer of cheese and 1/3 of the soya flour, and then add half of the tomatoes on top. Then we're going to add another 1/3 of the porridge oats, 1/3 of the cheese, 1/3 of the soya, and then the other half of the tomatoes. And the final layer will be to add the final 1/3 of the porridge oats, the final 1/3 of the cheese, and the final 1/3 of the soya flour. Over all these ingredients, your savoury milk. Try to get an even coating over the whole of the surface so that it soaks in. And now all that's left is to pop this in the oven, a moderate oven, for just half an hour. So get your vegetables on with it as well. Now that really smells delicious, tomatoey and cheesy. Vegetable, cheese and soya, savoury. I wish you could smell this too. I can't wait to have our dinner today. With strong tasting foods like tomatoes and leeks, you can use half your usual cheese in a cheese dish by adding soya flour as well. And it really is very good for us. So do pop in and learn more ways of using soya flour in tasty dishes. After all, it's there for all of us.